You're welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you for starting the day with us this bright, beautiful Wednesday morning. We hope that your week has been off to a good start. And as we have gotten to the middle of the week, you find the week has been productive so far. I am Olive Emodi, and I want to warmly welcome you. And maybe Benga and Joe will care to share with us, the funny joke they were sharing just before we went live.
You're welcome to Breakfast Central this morning, a beautiful Wednesday morning, and I just need to, I need to fact check Olive. She said it's the middle of the week. Well, it's not yet the middle of the week. It will be the middle of the week when it's the 12 o'clock report. Yeah, a week is 7 days. Half of 7 days is 3.5.
Look at
so
you,
12
dry like Hamatan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. We're journalists, let's be factual.
So you brought calculation into the conversation.
No, we have to be factual in everything we do.
Very dry.
Wow, it's great to be here. So many things happening in Nigeria and across the world, yes. And it came to us as a shocker. But yes, the Inspector General of Police has been changed, and I wonder why they use the same script all the time. I believe the handlers can be more creative, but who am I? It's just in the grapevine. People are saying, why does he always have to, when somebody resigns? I mean, you serve the nation, you could reach the peak of your career and resign, or the president in his magnanimity can decide to fire or hire. It's left to him, and I mean, no sour grapes, but they always give them, don't attract what is not there for yourself in the name of resignation. If you remember the defense minister, it was family issues. If you remember Ajuri Ngalale, it was family issues. And then,
but do you believe that Ajuri Ngalale was asked to resign or he resigned? Maybe he genuinely just thought...
Then Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, after spending more than 35 years...
Even after defying all the protests against him by Showore, you know.
Yes, but he had to come back to family issues. Isn't there family issues? You can't just talk through the family issues.
Family.
Like,
but there's also rumor amidst the family issues that... allegedly, now we can call him the former IGP, is about to run for governorship
of Ogun State.
In Ogun State. So we will find out if it's truly health issues. Although we do understand that
no family
it's been
issues.
Said that family issues. There's also the statement of health issues that he has kidney problems.
Yes. These are all just speculation.
That he has to go for
the rumors from the grapevine.
But we'll discuss this issue in depthly as we speak. But welcome to Breakfast Central. Fantastic night. No light. NEPA again. The Minister of Power seems to be very quiet, but then again, it's okay.
Every time you come and complain about this, I just keep reminding you that all power belongs to God.
Okay, I forgot. Nigerians, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we're streaming live on social media, and you can go ahead and tell us what you think, especially if you have comments to make on either of the stories we'll be sharing with you. But my name is Joe Hansen. Good morning, wherever you're watching us from. It's good to know that people are watching us from outside of... Sorry?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were to look where
Olive, what side of the bed did you wake up from? Or did you rise up from the middle of the bed? I don't think you woke up from any side.
You are saying this is breakfast. I thought this is just
up and graceful.
You know, yesterday I was too quiet on the show. Yesterday I was very demoralized.
So you want to make up for...
I need to make up for how quiet.
What demoralized you?
The insecurity challenges yesterday. It made me so sad.
Yeah.
Particularly the
amnesty report.
Yes, it made me so sad. I struggled, and that's the problem. I'm an empath. I feel things so strongly. I feel joy and sadness as strongly as, you know. And no, I'm
yeah, you wear your emotions on your sleeves.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I actually feel things strongly. So, as we started the show talking about 323, it just felt like the rest of my day was a mess. And it didn't just end up on the show. When I went home, I was sad. I didn't come out of my room. It felt so heavy. Our job is heavy, Joe.
Olive, see us after the show. We need to talk to you. We need to advise you.
After the show, see us.
Because you can't, I mean, we need you to live a very long, healthy life. You can't be carrying all this
according to Dele said, do not die in their war. You cannot die in their war. Okay, let's get into the business of the day. A businesswoman, Tresnitha Nicholas Ohiri, has alleged that she was arrested on the orders of the Minister of Works, David Umahi. In a viral video circulating online, Ohiri claimed she was being transported to Abuja and urged Nigerians to hold the minister and the Nigerian police responsible should anything happen to her. According to her, the dispute dates back 12 years and involves an alleged unpaid debt for campaign materials she supplied, adding that the matter escalated after she refused a personal relationship with the minister. However, Umahi has previously denied allegations of unpaid contractual obligations as sexual harassment and has reportedly threatened legal action over the claims, while there has been no official statement from police authorities as the situation continues to unfold. Let's take a look at the video from last year. This is the video from last year, and then we'll share with you the more recent video.
Engineer David Umahi, you know I am not lying. Your wife knows I am not lying. Your children knows I am not lying. Your workers know I am not lying. Engineer David Umahi, because I know you have the power, you have the money, you have everything. Your power is your government is in power to lock me up. But one thing I want to tell you, I am ready to die for this thing I'm pursuing. Engineer David, come out and tell Nigerians the insult I insulted you. Come out and tell Nigerians why you have taken my business capital for 3 years. I am not putting down anything. I am ready to die for this. Give me my money. I am a mother with children. I see your son flying private jets. The money.
Nigerians, David Umahi, who has been owing me for 12 years, just arrested me, and right now they're taking me to Abuja. I'm very high in my spirit, but should anything happen to me, Nigerians should hold David Umahi and the Nigerian police responsible. This man, David Umahi, has been owing me for 12 years because I refused to date him. And right now, he's using his power as a politician to weaponize and arrest me. I'm on my way to Abuja. I'm on my way to Abuja. Nigerians, I just want you to know. Thank you.
A very sad video there, and it's not the first time she's speaking out against the person of the Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi. And I believe if there is anything that is false about what she's saying, Engineer David Umahi has the right to sue for libel, and there's steps
defamation
defamation is libel if it's written, and there's steps, written steps or procedural steps in which you can engage and do that. But I don't understand why she's taking all the way to Abuja from our current
recall
place of
that that's the
residence.
same thing that happened to Dele to me. We find that here in Nigeria there's just, we know the procedure in which arrests are being made. And I think I say it a lot that the arrest procedure I was taught in law school is a completely different reality from what I'm seeing in Nigerian judicial practice. It's completely different. Because if you have a suit against her, you can bring up a suit of defamation.
That she will
if
be
you can
subpoenaed.
say, exactly, you serve her.
Have a day in court.
You know, have
Yes.
her day in court, let the court hear her, and then let the court be the final, have the final say. Both of you will appear in court and tell your side of the story. But picking her up,
extraordinary rendition, you know, it smacks of abuse of power.
yeah, extrajudicial process, yes. And Dele Farotimi's case, he alleged, and Nigerians at the time were criticizing the government and referred to it as a kidnap. It wasn't referred to as he was picked up and sent to another state. He was referred to as a kidnap. So he takes the person out of their state. To what extent? It's the same thing that happened with Chioma in the case against Erico, the tomato paste company. You pick someone up from Lagos and you take them to Abuja. How? Make it make sense. Are they not caught within Lagos? Can't your lawyer file service? You know?
I'm glad that on Thursday, this Thursday, place at the table, we'll be looking at the Nigerian police as a whole. We are going to have the Commissioner of Police of Lagos State, and the title is the police your friend? So there's so many questions.
Please, we need to ask questions about the procedure of arrest.
Weaponization of status and procedure of arrest, because it seems when powerful people initiate petitions against ordinary people, the police act faster and swiftly, and they always end up in wherever state or jurisdiction they want them to end up. It's really, really sad. This is oppression, to put it lightly.
I agree. But let's see what Nigerians are saying before we drop our extra cents. Let's see what Nigerians are saying about this situation, especially on X. Well, let's see. Stephen Nwachuku says, arrest you. Okay. Own you for 12 years. Okay. why did you refuse to date a minister of works? Stephen, be careful.
Who is this person?
Did you know?
I hope his family members are watching him expose himself on national TV.
Exactly. O.C. Charles says, serious allegation if true, but this matter had done this since 2025. Umahi denied everything back then and threatened court. Hope police handle it fairly and we see evidence on both sides. No be today is start. Plato's cousin says, every time a woman is guilty, she starts crying. Brothers, understand this. A woman's first sign of guilt is her tears.
Who be this one?
Now you Sabio.
Who be this
Plato's cousin. You're really Plato's cousin. You know. Mama, where the evidence? You can't just accuse someone like that. And besides, if police arrest you and are about to transfer you to Abuja, are they going to allow you make video? Just curious. Maybe that's before they invited her, before she left. She said she was going to Abuja. That's what she said in the video. Well, he's owing you because you refused to date him. Okay, so why is he arresting you? Is it for the same reason? Well, just to mention, piggyback on the first tweet we had taken about why you said no greed data, that tweet. There's also a conspiration around this whole thing. Remember, there's a lady, yes, this particular one. It says, could have enjoyed from the Lagos-Calabar Highway. Bottom line.
There's another lady
yes.
that had been having back and forth with the minister with regards her property and compensation.
Exactly.
And then because she had the audacity to challenge the minister in a video that went viral said they should even
do their worst, something like that, not the exact word.
Demolish more or take more.
Do their worst.
Because he had the power to.
And then on that, there was also statements made by this woman that there were requests of dating and so on in between by the minister. A statement the minister has also come out to deny. So we don't really understand what's going on.
So
there's a lot.
These are strong allegations again, and I'm hoping that if she's making such strong allegations, she has proof to back them up, right? I would say the best way to settle this matter is to take it to court. They should go to the court, and the minister must answer because these are strong allegations. If you don't want to answer to the court, you must answer to the court of public opinion. But
I mean, no one is more powerful than the law in Nigeria. It has no choice.
So go to the court. Both of you, let's see what evidence you have. I'm sure that if she did business with the minister, she will have documents to prove, right? It's not a word of mouth. There will be bank statements, maybe a contract, but at least there will be bank invoices that will show payment.
Yes.
She will tender it, and then if the minister claims that he has paid her, he would also be able to tender invoice of payment, their bank statements. So this thing can be easily resolved so that it doesn't snowball into something bigger than it already is, because it's really, as it is, it's already big enough. This matter should be handled, but should be handled according to the law. Should be made to face. She should, if the minister believes that all that she said is a lie and that it's a case of defamation, you should serve her with a suit, take her to court, and let the court decide what the final issue is. However, what we strongly criticize is an abuse of power. There's a process for arrest and the process for bringing people before the court. And
also, let me just add, I think the police needs to be very mindful how they're being used.
We have a new IG now.
We have
the new sheriff is on the block.
We have cases where policemen are being used to just perpetrate actions that are unconstitutional.
And always willing tools to use to subvert the law and oppress people.
Exactly.
It's really sad. My final sense before we move to our second wake up story is, can we have that first tweet up? This is part of the moral decay in society we're talking about, that things have to be transactional. What do you mean that if she had dated him, she would be enjoying Lagos Calabar, enjoyed from that? This is a corruption. It might sound like a joke to you, Stephen Nwachukwu, but it's not. There's so many children, so many impressionable minds that swayed by this sort of things, that think relationships have to be transactional, that you have to pay or induce or have some. I mean, what is wrong with a woman standing her ground and saying, no, I'm going to be professional, married or not, and I'm not going to fall for your pressure because of pecuniary reasons or what I might gain as a result of having an affair with you, which is not professional. If I have a service to offer, let me offer the service and let me go. And this is to men too, please. It's not everything in sketch that you have to make a move on. Exercise some discipline, please.
And there's something called abuse of power. If for example, in this,
you're in
your
a position of
workplace, you're in a
authority,
position of authority, right? If my line manager, for example, starts hitting on me, and as a result, because this thing, we do it, a number of people do it in Nigeria and get away with it, right? If my line manager starts to then mount pressure on me to be in a relationship with him, it can be interpreted as
sexual harassment,
as you manipulating the fact that there's a power play, there's an imbalance of power there. You are at a superior level, and that limits my ability to be able to say, I'm standing my ground firmly. And I'm not using that, please, no such thing is happening here. I'm using that as an example to say people need to be mindful, especially of position. I want to take comments on YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube. News Central TV Live.
Families up.
Yes. He's not, no, Mokwe Chukwemeka hasn't commented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yesterday he was feeling overwhelmed just like me with all the insecurity. He said he's tired of
both of you
TV.
are empaths.
Yeah,
Me, I'm an empathy.
Yeah,
Empath or empathy.
Sent TV, Mrs. Johnson. Good morning. For me, if this is still Nigeria, she can never get justice against anyone. I mean, any APC man. It's so sad to admit this, but it is the reality. LOL. These men are more powerful than the courts. We all know this, but we can pretend like it's not the truth anyway. Nejinsan says, do you genuinely believe that when this case is taken to court, the woman stands any chance, no matter the evidence the woman has? If you ask me now,
you know, when you begin to doubt the courts, I mean, it was the last hope of the common man.
To be.
A very terrible. It means all hope is lost.
It's a sad place to be.
Anyway, let's see what will happen. I'm sure she'll be making more videos, and while she's making more videos,
when she's in custody,
her people will speak. People will come online.
Do we have a human rights commission?
Yes, we do.
She should have petitioned the human rights commission.
You even have the human rights
and not take this alone.
Even in the police station, there's a human rights
desk. Yeah.
So it's there. Let's see. But I don't know if they function as strong as we expect them to function. But let's move on to our next story now. This one is one that's been trending. We had no choice. We tried to ignore this story completely, but it seems like it's making the headlines, no doubt, and it's gotten to a different level. Nigerian singer Simi is facing renewed backlash online after voicing support for a woman who accused a man of rape, a move critics say ignored the risk of false allegations. The controversy escalated when an old tweet referencing children at her mother's daycare resurfaced, sparking speculation and fresh accusations from users on X. In response, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, announced it will investigate any credible reports of child sexual abuse or misconduct in daycare centers, urging individuals with factual information to come forward confidentially. Simi has dismissed the allegations linked to her resurfaced posts, insisting they were playful remarks made years ago and carried no malicious intent, even as the debate continues to dominate social media. Now, this is a public notice from NAPTIP, but we're going to take some time to look at some of the tweets that netizens have brought out, the old tweets of the famous singer. So let's see what these tweets look like. We'll start off with the number of tweets. The first one, it says, my 10-month-old niece is doing squats. Who on earth is she trying to impress with her? Well, she goes ahead to use the word booty, which definitely is an English word now accepted, I think, in the lexicon, if I'm right. She also goes on to say on this one, I'm also a child. He's harassing me sexually. Nigeria has a child rights act. If his parents catch you, okay. I wish my husband was 4 years old my time.
Wow.
Why this 4-year-old boy trying to put his hand? I mean, there's so many of them, but we cannot for the good of broadcast TV, can't put all of them up that way. But then again, this one there says she loved kids at her mom's daycare center. These are very old tweets, regardless. But it took one single mention of a situation that led netizens to wear their investigative hats, because they're not journalists, they're just investigators online, they're social media investigators. And they went ahead to dig these old tweets out.
Because she spoke against sexual assault against
regardless.
Regardless.
No, I just wanted to...
I want to ask you a question.
No, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that.
Is there a statute of limitation?
Before you ask the question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I also want to put it here. I mean, there's a video. Anyway, that will be discussed later. I just want to put it here that it's a conversation I think we need to have. We need to be very careful.
Important and
I want to clear
people.
the air on that one before we focus on NAPTIP and what they've said. And what I want to speak on is, let's be very careful when people accuse men of rape. Let's be very, I have a video, I haven't put it out yet, but I've done a video and I mentioned it. There's a long list of men who have been imprisoned. They've spent their whole youthful life.
Lives destroyed.
Lives have been destroyed. 23 years, 42 years. In short, there's a recent one that's trending in Dr. Phil or something, where the guy spent 24 years and he came out and the lady said she wanted to apologize, that she lied. 24 years gone of somebody's life.
I agree with you.
So let's be careful when it comes to that. I always say this, until there's proof beyond reasonable doubt and imagination, and it's proven, then that individual must and should be locked up. I always use the word, I can't say that here on TV, something off. I always say that because you will be a beast to do that. But if it hasn't been proven and people keep pointing fingers, there are many sad stories. There's a documentary, if you watch it, where the young lad who was electrocuted in America some years ago for two white ladies. The black boy. Yes, the black boy who was electrocuted. The boy said he didn't know. He was just walking past the street.
Okay. So that being said, Joe, I cannot deny the fact that there have been people who have been falsely accused, and I condemn it totally, wholeheartedly. And I think that any woman who has been caught accusing a man of rape should face the same penalty that rapists face, right? Even when those who are saying it, jokingly. Now we know, a lot of people didn't know. In 2026, you cannot say that you're not aware that it's a crime to falsely accuse someone of rape. Back in the day, there were so many things our parents did, there were so many things that happened that a number of people overlooked. You can't claim ignorance in 2026. So as I'm saying this, I'm saying any woman who falsely accuses a man of rape, like there's a video of a young girl who posted on her status or something and called the boy a rapist, and now she's retracting her statement because she's been filed with a court case, asked for an apology, asked for the post to be retracted, and then asked to pay 50 million in damages. I completely wholeheartedly condemn women who do that. That being said, again, another downside to women who do that is that when women who are actually raped come out to speak up, they are then doubted. People then second guess them. People don't believe them. We already struggle with women not being believed when they come out to say that they have been raped or they've been assaulted. If you speak to the women in your circle, if you know 3 women, 2 of them have either been raped or sexually assaulted. 2 out of every 3 women. It's not my statistics. It's either UNICEF or World Health Organization, one of the 2, that gave that stat. They said 2 out of every 3 women. I believe it's WHO. So it's not fabricated. And I'm not beyond statistics. As a woman in Nigeria, I know this because I have conversations with women and we have conversations with our friends. We have experiences ourselves growing up where sometimes it's not even rape. It's one uncle touching you inappropriately, right? And then when women come out to speak, society doesn't believe them. One, society shames them by asking them, what are you wearing? Why did you wear this? Why did you go to that place? So by accusing them falsely, you're taking us steps back in the fight against sexual assault. That's just, and it was important for us to lay that premise because that was what then led into the conversation that Simi gave her voice to, that then led to people going into digging her tweets, and now would have to, unfortunately, respond to that, Benga.
What I'm going to say about this is it's good that Simi has come out to clear the air and that she's not denying the origins of those tweets. She's owned them and said she's responsible for it. She claims to have been 23 or 24 years old then. A 23-year-old is an adult. You can vote, you can get married, you can be sent to jail. She was a university graduate, so I believe in her right senses, she knew the implications of what she was saying. And it's a good thing that we have a reference in the case of Smith Darlington, who claimed he was joking when he made that statement about violating a minor. And now Simi is doing the same. The tweets say the same, but what we're seeing is a clear case of double standards, like, oh, she was in the past and all of that. This is terrible. And then in a statement, he reeked of a lot of arrogance. You could raise 2 hands up and say, look, what I did, I know better now. I'm a better person, I regret this on XYZ, but just flippantly saying, you know, it happened years ago, I didn't mean any harm. I'm sorry, it doesn't hold water.
This is a tough one, I must mention very quickly, but before we see what Nigerians are saying, it's a tough one. And when netizens' army decides to get on your case, on your nerve, they go as far as digging up every single thing on all your social media sphere. I personally know Simi. I mean, we've been buddies way back. So you would only wonder, okay, seeing this and you're wondering, is this the same person and so on? But like you said, she came out to explain that, oh, listen, I was younger back then. And I'm just going to say this, not to fend or cover for anybody or try to put up a security post for someone. But the truth is, since NAPTIP has stepped in, people are saying this is very good. Let's see what NAPTIP will do. And if there's anyone, like I like the information from NAPTIP, if there's anyone who was in that daycare who went through either of these things, that person should feel free to come out. And as we age most times, as we get older, the things we used to do while we're younger, we'll find them not appropriate because we've learned. And I can say this to everyone watching this. If you're between the ages of 35 to 45, go and check your old post. I'm sure you'll be disappointed at some things you may have said. Just go and check them. But in line with this particular one, which is not just being a dirty post or a wrong or a funny post, this is a serious post. This is bordering on criminal activity. So we're not going to treat it with kids' gloves. We're just going to allow the authorities to do what they have to do. And hopefully when they invite her, she'll be available to, you know, speak and answer some questions. But that's what life is. But let's see what Nigerians are saying definitely about this story as well.
Nos Cherish says Simi's old posts are disturbing and inexcusable. She's also been bullied for speaking up against rape, but two truths can coexist. Y'all wonder why Nigerian celebrities no longer lend their voices to the fight against the vices in the country. You have your answer. Foundational Lupe lawyer says if NAPTIP is serious, the right thing to do would be to visit the alleged daycare if it's still in operation. Interview the staff, invite Simi and her mom for questioning, check through their records, trace any David or his parent, and go through their complaint box or records if any reports of child abuse or molestation was ever made, and come up with a report. That's how to do a proper investigation and not asking random people to come forward. I agree with him.
That's smart.
Daniel Rega, I mean, it can't be a public opinion if Daniel Rega, if he has not commented, then there's something wrong with the issue. Daniel Rega says Simi could have easily owned up her mistakes and taken serious accountability, but instead tried to downplay the whole thing with the Adore Children card. No, what she did was perversion. There's no two ways around it. It's point blank, period. My team has been deleting some of my tweets because of how sensitive it is for my family. How dare you, Simi? If it wasn't a problem and despicable act, it won't be sensitive for her family. Now that she's a mother, let her switch the table and see how very disturbing that act was. What an utterly stupid statement to put out, says Daniel Rega. I agree with this statement, and it borders around, we share the same sentiments about owning up, accountability and not playing I care for children card.
I put it to you guys at NAPTIP Nigeria that you are all hypocrites. This was your own letter to Speed Darlington to come and clarify. You reached me stunned and I begin to find factual evidence. You people are enablers. And then they put out a post there. I also want to go on YouTube. Let's take comments.
What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, let's take comments from YouTube. Mokunye Chukwemeka says, good morning. I hope you're feeling better today. He says, I share same sentiments as you, Olive, concerning false rape accusers. They should face the same penalty as those who are convicted for rape. And then he goes on to say, Joe, you are correct. That old post thing is true. I read some old posts on Facebook and I was laughing at myself. Nothing explicit, but the level of understanding then was shallow. And
discernment and certain things, holding back certain things. But I checked my own old posts and guys, you need to give me a handshake. Maturity is wounding me.
Hello.
I'm too mature. I'm mature. You are more mature than ourselves. I'm not doing this shit again.
It's a really sad situation to be x-raying. And I think more than anything, this just teaches us all that we have to be extremely careful.
Very sad.
But
anyway,
we have to go on a very, very quick break. And before we go on the break, we'll share with you what the top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. But keep your comments coming. We'll X-ray them as we proceed with Breakfast Central. Back to Breakfast Central. Let's share with you the top stories we're looking at this morning. This morning on Breakfast Central, President Tinubu appoints Tunji Disu as IGP, retires Kayode Egbetokun as the former IGP. President Tinubu hosts the APC governors, stakeholders, and Renewed Hope Ambassadors Summit 2026. U.S. lawmakers submit report on Nigeria, recommend sanction over Christian killings. Court fixes March 24th for ADC deregistration suit hearing. And as usual, we review the newspaper front pages with our analysts and with you when we open the phone line. Stay tuned for all these and more.
Welcome back. The United States Congress has formally submitted a comprehensive report to the White House outlining findings on the alleged persecution of Christian communities in Nigeria, and it contains a series of significant recommendations. The report, compiled by the House Appropriations and Foreign Affairs Committee after months of investigations, fact-finding visits to Nigeria, hearing and consultation with religious leaders and security experts, concludes the violence against Christians and extremist groups remain a serious concern.
Among its proposals, the document recommends the imposition of sanctions and visa restrictions against individuals or groups believed to be complicit in religious persecution, and even suggests withholding certain U.S. funds until Nigeria demonstrates tangible action to protect vulnerable communities. It also calls for a bilateral U.S. Nigeria security agreement, enhanced technical support to tackle militia-related violence, and cooperation with international partners to dismantle extremist networks, while urging reforms such as repealing blasphemy and Sharia-based laws that critics say can be misused to stoke tension. And to help us unpack the global and domestic implications of this report is Executive Director, Golden Hope International Foundation, Lambert Opara. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning to all of you there. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you as well. Now, this report recommends sanctions and visa bans for individuals allegedly complicit in these abuses. How significant do you think this is? And my colleague typically would often wonder, why do we always have to go to the West and ask the U.S. in particular to ensure that there are visa bans? So how potential or how potent a punitive measure do you consider the visa ban?
Well, it's one of those measures. Good morning once again. It's one of those measures that is recommended in this report by really more congressman and his committee. But of course, you know, the visa restriction is a measure that is being adopted by the United States, and not even United States, but some other countries, to ensure that most of those people who are involved or associated with terrorism activities are checkmated. And so it's one amongst all the measures, because it's coming close to the real people who are involved in these nefarious activities. Because generally the recommendation had made far-reaching propositions to the government. But this one specifically is touching at those people who are involved in this despicable act, the act of terrorism, and making sure that they are checkmated. That's going on at the individual level, beyond what is conceived to be a very global concern for all the people of this world, the good people of this world. And so I think it's a very good measure. It's been ongoing anyway, but now it's been made official.
Now, Mr. Opara, the report frames the issue as one of Christian persecution. But violence in Nigeria often affects Muslims, farmers, and other groups as well. Does this framing risk oversimplifying a much more complex conflict?
Well, you know, when you are on a mission, you just like doing a research. You are focusing on a specific issue, a specific problem you are investigating. So what they were doing, the American Congress panel was doing, is that they perceived that there is Christian persecution in Nigeria. And of course, this was a follow-up of Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern by the Trump administration. And so it was a fact-finding mission. He went on straight to tell, this is our mission. We want to establish whether there is Christian persecution in Nigeria or not. And that's what they went to do. As for us Nigerians, whether there are other people who are affected by these terrorist activities, yes, there are. But that is for us to deal with. But the mission of the Congress panel is to establish whether there is Christian persecution in Nigeria or not, and that they had established by the report they presented on Monday.
Just to follow up with your submission, Mr. Okpara, you said they had a laser beam focus. Their assignment was to find out if the Christian persecution. But you know, we live in a multicultural society, a multi-religious society in Nigeria. It's not like Muslims, there's a segregation between Muslims and Christians. Even families intermarry and have different religions. So in what spirit do you think the U.S. came and then say, okay, our focus is to know if there's religious persecution against Christians, and then ignore thousands, hundreds of thousands, thousands of Muslims that have been victims of violent extremism? Just last week alone, over 300 Muslims died in different parts of the country. If they mean well for Nigeria, they would want to address terrorism as a whole, because the blood that we shed is red, and it doesn't have religious connotations. So would you say they're going about it the right way by just focusing on Christian persecution? Don't you think they might just make a bad situation worse by stoking this divisions?
Well, I agree with you to the extent that, yes, this is a multicultural society, multi-religious society, and of course, the victims of these terrorist activities cut across religious boundaries. That is true, it's a fact. But the other fact is that if this kind of scenario has been playing out for a very long time, we need to extract commitment from on the part of government as to what they are doing towards, checkmating or managing this situation we are facing. For how long will we continue? We know that even people who are not enemies, people who traditional religious institutions, the Muslims, the Christians, all sorts of people are caught in this crisis. But we have to start somewhere. We need to begin to extract, commitments by, this kind of imposition of reports. This kind of report can ginger us as Nigerians to begin to find ways of addressing this issue. It's not about sentiment. No. If we continue this way, we will not find solution to the problem. I'm not supporting the whole gamut of bringing the weight of American government on the people of Nigeria, because that way, like you said, there will be some kind of backlash. But at least we have started somewhere. Let us begin to look at the issue of visa restriction. Look at the issue of removing or abolishing nefarious laws, the laws that make it difficult for Nigerians to freely enjoy their religion, which is a fundamental right. I think these are the issues we should focus really. As to making it complex, but they worked with some government officials here. It's not that they came and they just came and barged into Nigeria. They worked with some government officials. In fact, the Office of the National Security Advisor was very deeply involved in the activities. But I think it's an independent report. So from there now, we can begin to look at ways of addressing the challenges. The point is that, do we have this scenario now in Nigeria that is plaguing everyone? Yes, there is. Do we have solution for them, for these problems? No, not yet. So if we get help from the American government, we can now begin to do our own in-house cleaning and find ways of addressing it rather than putting sentiment on it. Because the moment we continue to dwell on the fact that, well, the A group are involved, the B group are involved, the C groups are involved, we may not find solution. And this thing has been going on for a very long time. So many lives have been lost. What is the solution?
Well, you said, what is the solution? And then that's the same question I was going to ask, just right back at you. I mean, the U.S. Congress also mentioned a possible security partnership to help Nigeria tackle extremist violence. Now, is this a sign that shows that Nigeria as a country has, has not been able to step up its sovereignty in terms of fighting this insecurity and banditry? Rather, Nigeria slipped to a point where we have to be dependent on an international or a country to come help us. So doesn't it show that we're weak?
No. In international relations, I mean, you do not consider yourself weak. It's some kind of collaboration. You can't live alone. Even America seeks assistance in addressing so many problems from different perspectives. Assistance from European countries and other friendly countries. It didn't show that Nigeria is completely weak and helpless. No. What it shows is that we should be willing to collaborate, work with international organizations, friendly government, to see to the problem of our own country. You can't do it alone. And of course, most of these terrorists are coming from outside the country, and they use sophisticated weapons, some of which are not even familiar with us here. So we need that international relationship. We need American support. We need support from Europe and other countries of the world to make this life safe for all of us, you as journalists. And the other day, I think somewhere along, somewhere in Plateau or Gombe, a journalist was killed across the board. I think in one of the areas he went to investigate reports of these terrorism activities. So everybody is involved. So it doesn't give the picture of a weak Nigeria. What it does is that Nigeria is waking up now to seek collaboration, not in a manner that is like it's begging. No. I think that's the way we should see it. You should see it as a collaborative effort.
All right, and also let's talk about, some of the latest reports we've been having. There are other reports, for example, Amnesty International reported on Saturday, I believe, that 323 Nigerians have been killed within the space of 20 days. Do you believe that these other independent reports may also add additional pressure to the government and, make them step up whatever necessary moves they need to make to ensure that they're providing security for Nigerians, or maybe collaborating with the U.S.?
Certainly so. Even last week or a few days back, there was an incident in Benue State. About 10 people were killed. And then, of course, in Plateau State. It's something we should all be very, very conscious of, the fact that we are losing lives on a daily basis. Of course, it adds feeling to what this report has already, this report, what it has already been able to establish. It's a clear case that this situation will continue if nothing is done. And for us Nigerians, it's high time we brace up and see how we can also take the opportunity that is provided by the United States and address this problem once and for all.
Now, Mr. Okpara, I mean, this report also had some elements of geopolitics in it, because it said that the proposal seeks to eliminate terror activities. It also says we should reduce further economic cooperation and counter adversaries in the report, that we should reduce our interaction with the Chinese Communist Party and the Russian Federation were mentioned as adversaries. If this is a case about religious persecution, why are they bothering into areas of Nigeria's foreign policy directives? It's almost like it's not even a recommendation. They're dictating to us that this is what you should do. The last time I checked, Nigeria was not a colony of the United States, and they're not in a position to choose our friends. So are we giving an inch and they're taking a mile?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But you know, that was the committee is a bipartisan committee made up of appropriation and foreign policy. And therefore, of course, the foreign policy of any nation derives from its internal policy. And so, naturally, the American government cannot just come without also making some demands. And those demands now will be thrown to the table of Nigerians, the policymakers, the government, to look at areas they will now have to accept, collaborate, work with. It's not that it's something thrown to us, hook, sink, and line that we will swallow. No. Or the government officials will look at the report, examine it. Of course, there is already reaction from government denying that there is no genocide, Christian genocide in Nigeria. There's already a report to that, a response to that. What we can do is to look at the whole report and then, of course, look at areas that are practicable and then, you know, see ways we can also bring them to use. It's not that we are going to take the whole thing because it's just a report. And of course, the Nigerian Congress also, the parliament, I expect they will also debate on this. And then the government will now take a decision after that and then seek more further collaborations, discuss with the American government representatives, and then look at the way those that are practicable and those that are also going to assist us in our own lives, daily lives. We cannot take the report total as it is, but at least it is a far-reaching report that could assist us in getting out of this challenge.
Okay. Now, just to follow up on what you mentioned, and I'm glad you brought in the Nigerian parliament into this, because if they had been doing their job, we won't find ourselves in this situation in the first place. They seem to be very quiet when it comes to issues like this. It's just the executive that has been liaising with the government of the United States. Have they abdicated responsibility and outsourced governance to the United States? Because they hardly see anything about this bilateral agreement, some of those recommendations. This is just one congressman in the United States, Riley Moore, and a few. And it's shaking the entire country. They're giving recommendations. Meanwhile, hundreds of millions of Nigerians elected representatives to go there and fight for their interests, to tell the government to protect them. And they're very quiet in all of this. They're not saying anything. Even the public hearings, we hardly see public hearings on victims of terrorism and all of that. It seems the Americans are more concerned about our own security than us, which is quite shameful, to put it lightly.
Of course, that explains why most Nigerians and a lot of people are clamoring for this help from the United States. It's obvious. What you said is true. Ordinarily, you know, this should have been a matter of great concern to the parliament of this country. But you and I know what is going on currently. They are more concerned about 2027, who is going to be there and who is not going to be there, electronic transmission of results, manual and all that. They are all busy deliberating on the political future of the country. Whereas somewhere along the line, Nigerians are bleeding. And I think this is a very serious indictment on our parliament. I mean, they should work with the Congress, the American Congress, and find out actually what is really going on. If they lack the capacity to do so, I think the Congress of the United States can also help, just like they are doing presently. It's a matter of concern, my brother, and I think it's a wake-up call now. I don't think they should be hiding again. Since this report is within the public domain, they cannot pretend they are not aware. And in the next few days, let's see what the reaction will be from the parliament.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lambert Opara, for joining us this morning on the show. We'll continue to follow up with this and see what the next steps will be regarding this. Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Let's share with you what's coming up next on Breakfast Central. Coming up next, President Tinubu appoints Tunji Disu as IGP, retires Kayode Egbetokun. President Tinubu hosts APC governors, stakeholders in Renewed Hope Ambassador Summit 2026. President Tinubu hosts governors, advocates national unity, good governance.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. In a major shakeup of the nation's security leadership, President Bola Tinubu has accepted the resignation of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, citing pressing family reasons. In his place, Tunji Disu, former head of Intelligence Response Team, has been appointed Acting Inspector General of Police. He becomes the 23rd Inspector General of Police following Kayode Egbetokun's resignation from the force.
Now, this is not just a personnel change, but a move that comes at a time when insecurity remains a pressing national concern. We shall be analyzing what this leadership change means for Nigeria's security architecture, policing reforms, and the political undertones of this decision. Will be joined by experts to break it all down. Now, joining us for this discussion are former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Lawrence Alabi, who will be joining us much later. But let's start the conversation with legal practitioner Towo Oseruwoja. Good morning, Leonard colleague. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Judith.
All right, let's get your thoughts on the removal of the former IG Egbetokun. Do you believe that it is one done truly on the basis of personal family reasons as genuine resignation, or do you think that is a quiet removal that has some undertones, especially because there have been concerns and criticisms raised over his tenure allegation by President Tinubu? You saw how Chore has been campaigning and advocating for his resignation for the longest time. Let's get your thoughts.
Okay, let me start it from the last statement you made regarding controversies surrounding his tenure. If you look at it, I've stated it time without number in this platform and outside this platform, and when educating people when it comes to the statutory provision of the Inspector General of Police, that it is stated clearly. If you look at Section 7, Section 6 of the Nigerian Police Act 2022, the tenure of an Inspector General of Police when you assume that office is 4 years. So there is no controversy, and that is an express and explicit provision of the law, which cannot be override by a general provision of that particular act. So that is for that. Then the other issue, if it is pressing or individual or whatever reasons he has given, if you look at Section 7, if you look at subsection 5 of the Nigerian Police Act, you could see that it is stated clearly. There are three conditions or three provisions in which an Inspector General of Police can be removed. One, by the President on the advice of the Police Council. Then two, when the Inspector General of Police is of the provision of or is caught up with what we call gross misconduct. That is a ground for its removal. That is a ground for its removal. Then gross violation of the Constitution is another ground under that second aspect. Then his inability to perform his duty as an Inspector General of Police under the second ground I was talking about. Then the last one is the elapse of his tenure of 4 years, which is not renewable. So let's come by in the public domain, he resigned. Yes. Can it be on the ground of incapacity to discharge his responsibility on the ground of his family or family ties? So we can peck it on that. So that is a voluntary resignation. So it should not be tied to the fact that is a silent removal, except he comes out to debunk it, that he was forced to resign. So it's like a voluntary means of resignation within the fact and knowledge we are discussing this particular topic.
Now, just before we speak about the newly appointed acting Inspector General of Police, subject to confirmation by the Senate, what's your assessment of Mr. Kayode Egbetokun's tenure as Inspector General of Police? We do remember the tin permit controversy and a few more controversies. How would you rate his performance as Inspector General of Police? Was he able to push certain reforms in the police? Is the police force now better than he met it?
Unfortunately, I will rate his tenure as a total failure, and I also rate his tenure as his inability to strengthen or spare out the constitutional or institutional functions of the police. There have been a lot of issues where the police comes out, and at the same time, under his leadership, they failed the citizen in every areas you can ever think of in policing. And I'm surprised, though, in terms of where I am currently, and for everywhere, meaning Nigeria, you discover that Egbetokun would have resigned long before now. One, you look at the promotion, there have been lot of scandals in terms of the promotion level within the rank of the police. You look at the professionalism of the police, it becomes more worse than ever. You could see that innocent citizens were tear gassed, and such would have been done within his knowledge or within the briefing, and nobody is questioned. I will also record a lot of adoption from the police where people were being harassed, adopted from their house in terms of what they call arrest. You also recall that under his tenure, this tinted permit issue, which for me, well, if it's well and properly handled, it would have been a fine thing. Then you also recall that under his tenure, there have been a lot of security breach in Nigeria. The police as normally and as consistently disobey what we call a direct order from a chain of command, whereby you say that you see police coming out openly to say, oh, that is the Inspector General of Police saying, and this is what we are going to do, where they search people's phone and every other thing. So there are so many things that is as a result of, I know as an individual, he wouldn't have been able to do much when there is already a total institutional failure as a whole in the police. So the orientation from the senior officers down to the rank and file that have encounter with the citizen is a total failure. And also in his tenure, you could see so many things we can link to his tenure, and his response is a bit his response and body language to these issues are a bit concerning. And you know, in his tenure, we have what's the name of this former public relation officer, the one that was transferred to Delta State. In his tenure, I think we have the worst police image maker we can ever think of, whereby abuse of power was paramount and clearly spelled out. And you see that he has nothing to do, and he did nothing.
Okay.
So it's a total failure for me as a person.
Okay, I mean,
and I think Nigeria shared the same view as I am.
I mean, these are your thoughts, but there are also different thoughts that we see, different reactions. There's a situation or a case that was brought forth by Sahara reporters. I don't know if you also remember that. While we wait for our next guest to join, who may also have an incline into this story, the report had it that the former IGP was involved, his son rather, had received security grants from Anambra State worth 100 million naira. That was one. There was also stories of people under him who were being raised up. They were, you know, climbing the ranks so fast compared to those who had been in the police service for years. Do you think all of these scandals, in quotes, was enough to have made the president to take this decision? Because we recall Shore has always been at the forefront, highlighting these issues and making it clear. And what do you make of the statements made from the presidency that he had to resign on, always use the family issues and so on? I mean, you're a lawyer and you're also a public speaker, so you do understand these things. Does it make any sense, if we put it that way, that these allegations were being made and all of a sudden we see a resignation come forth?
Well, if you see, one of the areas I think the president should build on, let me come from that point, is the area of his image, that is his image maker. So behind his statement, particularly Bayo, if you hear him or you see him make a statement, you can deduce some innuendo. Also, innuendo can be infer. So behind family ties or family-related issue, fine and good. The resignation was not made public. What he wrote on that resignation letter is not made public. And we should also respect the fact that resignation comes voluntarily and is part of his constitutional right to say, well, I won't be able to take up that responsibility. And on the scandal surrounding him, I will let you know that he's not only the first person and in the Nigerian police. And you can also recall that the former, I think the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, has also been accused where the children are the one technically running the Supreme Court technically. I think that was also a scandal. So if you look at it, it has become a tradition. It has become a norm. Even the president's son, Sheyi, like if not for Wole Soyinka who intervened or who came out to speak, you know, he has reduced his numbers of convoy. Sheyi Tinubu, his convoy is even more than the one of some governors you can ever think of. So he weighs some powers that even some governors can't even weigh, because you could hear the pain when Wole Soyinka was speaking about what he saw and the power tussle. So it's a known factor within the power play in Nigeria. So if you say you want to link that as a scandal, it's no longer a scandal. I think they are proud of it. They swim in it. They talk about it. As a matter of fact, the children is part and parcel of the office. You want to talk about yes or wiki? So I want to look at it as a public affairs analyst, because as a public affairs analyst, we put all facts together without emotions, and we want to make people know that what is not acceptable in a society, and if the society condones it, it becomes a normal and a way of life. So I want to look that as one of the scandals. Let's follow simplicity, what the statement states, and the fact that he has not denied. He has not denied. Like I told you, his tenure as an inspector general of police is really, really terrible and a bad one. And let me come to the issue of the promotion. You know, the promotion is not only done by the person of the inspector general of police. Let me make it clear. There are some ranks in the police that the promotion comes from the Police Service Commission. So he is a chairman or he's a member with the Minister of Police Affairs. So it's a collaborative team. It's a team that is done within a larger class. So it should not only be linked to him as a scandal per se.
Okay. Thank you very much for your submission. Stay with us. We have to go for a quick break. And when we return, we still have quite a lot of issues to unpack with regards to the changing of guard at the Camp Salem House. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still looking at the retirement of Kayode Egbetokun and the appointment of acting Inspector General of Police, the person of Tunji Disu, and what this means. We're joined by Sowo Oseruwoja. Thank you very much for joining us and staying as a part of the conversation. Let's now talk about the new sheriff on the block, the acting IG of Police, Tunji Disu. Now, he's served in previous capacities. He served as Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, in the FCT, and there are many things and victories that were credited to him. So let's talk about what you believe will be the immediate challenges that he will need to tackle immediately as he's stepping into his new role as the acting IG of Police.
If you look at where it's coming from, the response team is a concern to me as a person, because if you look at some of the excesses of the police, particularly when you hear that officers from the first headquarters are leaving the, Abuja or FCT, visiting states, picking people, and when you find that, you see the response team. So if he's heading that team, I don't want to be a soothsayer, I don't want to be a person of doom. So one of the things I want to say should look at is the overall institution. The overall institution as a police, as the police. You know, the police is one of the oldest institutions we inherit from the colonial master, which is the Great Britain. And if you look at it carefully, over years, even in UK here, the police has undergone some rigorous process of reform. And if that institutional reform is not there, obviously there is nothing it can do. So one of the things we need to do in place is to ensure where we put an holistic overview of the institution. One, responsibilities. Who who is to take a responsibility, and when that responsibility is breached, who is to be held accountable. If that is spelled out, then 2, they should have a framework. Even the rank and file should understand policing is not about rascality, it's not about gallantry, it's about civil and civic discharge of responsibility. Then the other thing again is there should be an overall education of the police on their roles in the society. And the police should be non-partisan in the sense that the police should not be seen as an instrument of oppression rather than an instrument of law-abiding institution. So if all these things are not put in place, in Nigeria, whoever goes to the police first is the victim. As a matter of fact, as a lawyer, I will tell you that the police are they treat people as clients, and you are the other defendant, right? They're
facing. Last year, the Nigerian police doing customer service week.
Yes, so it's as bad as that. It's as bad as that. I've seen where I've had an encounter with the police in the UK, and if you see all through the process, that when I was flagged, I was driving and I was flagged. You could see the respect, you could see the interaction, everything went smoothly. So one thing I will also make them understand is that their complaint channel or their petition channel, how do they do it? Yeah, you can call the police without you having contact with one of them, but the process will be followed. And justice will be gotten without you saying, oh, this is my IPO, this is this. You meet a team that will look at it professionally. But in Nigeria, it's nothing like it. There's nothing like that. So there needs to be an overhaul. Then the gap between the ranking is really much, is high. If you come to the Metro Police here and you see the chief, between you see the chief, the Metro Chief Police and the other ranks, you could see that the power around is not that visible. It's not that visible, all like what you see in Nigerian police force, where the IG goes about with about 10 convoys. Then you see a commissioner of police goes about with 4 convoys, and there is no operational police van in the division. You see a DPO takes a police customized police van to himself, and there's no operational police van. So all these are institutional breakdown. And when you, I don't know if any one of you have visited the IG office, you'll be shocked how big it is. But you also see within that force headquarters, you see some offices. As it's not even my kitchen, it is not even as big as my kitchen or my restroom in my room. But you see the office of the Inspector General of Police is as big. They said there's one for VIPs, there's one for not VIPs, there's one for dining, there's one for this, there's one for that. It makes no sense. So there needs to be an holistic overall of the institution, an holistic overall. And I believe with this new IG and the way he is appointed, I believe he's coming here to serve some interest rather than serve the taxpayers.
We hope we can connect with the former FCT Police Command Commissioner, Mr. Lawrence Alobi. It would be nice to hear his insights as a former insider in the Nigerian police, because some of these issues you're raised are at the front burner and on the lips of so many Nigerians who encounter men and officers of the Nigerian police on a daily basis. But still on the issues you've raised, you also raised issues of accountability. Nigeria has over time struggled with police accountability, and can Nigerians trust Disu to deliver on police reforms and curb insecurity, or will operation efficiency overshadow human rights concerns? You did mention that what we would need is beyond one man, it's institutionally wide reforms. But if you look at the person of Mr. Tunji Disu, he was the commander of the Rapid Response Squad in Lagos. And if you check, just gauge fillers around social media and everywhere, most people have a positive disposition towards him. They said he was a thorough officer and he did a good job when he was RRS commander in Lagos. So what sort of institutional reforms would you propose, and how much can he do in his time? if it's eventually confirmed as IG?
Okay, if it's eventually confirmed, there's what we call the safeguarding mechanism that works perfectly well in the UK. There's what we call the safeguarding mechanism. And one of the safeguarding mechanisms is the fact that you prevent wrong, or you hold people responsible for doing what is not right or putting the life of others in danger. Now, we have 36 states. We have several commissioners of police. Now, the question would be because another thing again is that when merit is jettisoned in terms of posting an appointment, obviously compromise becomes the object of the day. Do you understand? One of the things he needs to do is how are commissioners of police are posted and how are they allocated? How is promotion being done? These are questions, because you cannot expect that a commissioner or people who comes to give you or who do you favor, that is where you post them or you make them or you recommend them for promotion, and you expect them to do diligent job. So his body language will determine how far he wants the police to go. Me as a person, I believe as the head of an institution.
All right, thanks for joining us, by the way, and thanks for sharing your thoughts. Let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at this story even more. We're hoping to have our second guest join us, and we'll talk about this. And also, there's a big story, too, that came out of Benin City yesterday. Peter Obi was involved, and other politicians as well. So stay with us. This is Breakfast Central. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Just before the break, we were still talking about the resignation of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and we had one guest who had spoken with us decisively on that. But this time, we're joined via audio with the former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Mr. Lawrence Alobi, joins us. Unfortunately, we have been trying to see if we can get him on video conferencing, but it seems very impossible. If you can hear us this morning, thank you for joining us, and good morning to you.
For having me too.
Great. So what's your take on the recent resignation of the IGP, and what's your take on the new entrance, the acting IGP?
Yes, like I reported that the former IGP resigned based on family consideration. It is a personal decision. Maybe the family has advised him to resign. We cannot question that. His personal opinion, and in that case, the government has no option than to accept the resignation. So he cannot force on a willing horse. He has put it on. He has given his best to the nation, and I felt that this is a time to back out, and he has done that honorably. So I think in that case, we cannot question his resignation or going to investigate why did he resign. And you need to ask about the acting general of police, IGP Disu. I think he's an officer whom I know too well. He's very competent, capacity, and I'm sure he'll transform and reinvent and join police force, because the police force has undergone a lot of challenges. Some of us who are retired officers, I retired 2007 at CPFCT Abuja. So the things I see, I bleed in my heart. But I'm sure that this will right the wrong and get things right, because it's my constituency, and I did policing with a passion. Anything affects the police, for me, I see it affects me as a person. I want to see the progress of the police. I want to see the police be uplifted. I want to see the police shining. I want to see that things now going contrary to our core values. Our core values, our standard, professional standard of the force and so forth. No, I don't get happy at all. But I'm sure now. I think Mr. President has done well by accepting his resignation, and he has played his part. Let some other person take over, and this is now the one on board. I'm sure that I'm very, very confident. This is an officer with capacity. Intellectual capacity, personal capacity, administrative capacity. He has even international experience capacity. He was the commander of Nigerian contingency to Sudan. So the international experience I think will add more value to what he's going to do. And I'm very optimistic that with the cooperation understanding of every officer and men, the point is that Leadership determines followership. The leadership style of the officer determines the followership of those behind the officer and men of any institution. So I know Disu is a dynamic officer with a listening ear, and I'm sure he will listen to advice, will seek advice when necessary, and I'm sure that things will change for good for this country in terms of internal security and policing.
And just now, you said there were certain things that you saw and you were not happy with it, the way it was going. Could you highlight what these things are and what will be your scorecard of the outgoing IG of police?
In terms of discipline, in terms of officers, policemen dressed in various ways. In many occasions, I will arrest officers when they're properly dressed. I'll call their officer, I'll call their CP, and say they should be tried because we have a dress code, because that is what gives us our dignity as a force. You know? So sometimes the policemen dress very shabbily, they wear whatever they like, officers don't lack of supervision, discipline was going down the drain, and that was not good enough because discipline is the core value of the force, the blood of the force. When discipline is not being convincing as something that's important, it destroys the force. Officers and men will not be doing their job in terms based on professional standard. Professional standard have to be reinvented. We need to have that professional standard for which the force is known for. And those of us who served for 35 years, I started as a police constable, and I went it all. So I know, and that discipline is very important. Administrative competence is there in terms of issues that affect administration, in terms of welfare, in terms of promotion. Is it based on merit? Is it based on primordial considerations and so forth? So these are things that I think the incoming acting IG will address, and I'm sure that the force will, like I said, he will reinvent and transform the Nigerian police force to give the force the image it deserves as a key lead agency in internal security. Because your capacity also determines your confidence, how you assert yourself. The police also have the dorsal in some areas. For instance, when I was Deputy Commissioner of Police and Operations, when we had Chogom, the military brought captains to become ADC, and I complained to General Guzo, who was in the NSA then, and Jamame was chief of staff to Mr. President. I said, the ADC function is not a military function, it's police function. And I said, please, you don't militarize policing in a democracy. And General Guzo and General Mohammed saw with me and said, Lawrence, you are right. They asked me to return all the captains. I was asked to bring officers from all the commands and now mobilize DSPs and all DSPs and so forth to now become as ADs, and I briefed them. So these are the things. Sometimes the police need to assert themselves, not they just say anything. Like, for instance, now, most cases you shall see the military have almost taken all police function. We're not supposed to be so. Even the Armed Forces Act, the Constitution provides when the military should come in aid of the police, and it is defined. But now it appears the military have taken over our function, bringing the police to the background. What is democracy? Even in the military rule, the police are always there to build public confidence on the government. So, but now, you see, the police are, like you see, you go to travel along the road, see roadblocks everywhere. That isn't supposed to be so. We are not a military regime. When a civilian dispensation, and our police should be civil in nature, not militarized policing. And then the issue of abuse of human rights, policemen, the issue of they don't apply emotional intelligence in their law enforcement and policing. They always have clashes with the members of the public. This is not supposed to be so. Police and the citizens are also work should be a symbiotic relationship between the police and the citizens, and that's when they can also enjoy the minds and hearts of the citizens. That's when they can enjoy public trust. Because when someone this is there for my interest, but when they don't just see, we see sometimes some of us think that we are that colonial mentality that the police is there to be used by the government against the citizens. Not at all. The police should not be alienated from the people, and the police should be alienated from the police. Because the police and the people need to work together the good of society, for internal security of the country, peace and security of the country, and for good governance. With that policing, no nation can do that, the police.
Hello, Mr. Alobi, if I may come in at this point. You've spoken quite passionately about the ills and some of the issues that the Nigerian police force is currently dealing with. Now, as a former insider, you've also spoken about the need to reinvent and transform the Nigerian police force. But how powerful is the Inspector General of Police? Can one man alone institute institutional-wide changes that would reinvent and transform the police? Do you think the IGP, the new IGP, Mr. Tunji Disu, can do it alone? Wouldn't he need the police service commission and other things to pull through these reforms? Because I believe he has the goodwill and he has positive intentions to change this. Is it possible?
Yes, nobody's an island. Nobody knows it all. Life is based on the principle of reciprocity and collaboration and cooperation. No agency can do it alone. No IGP can do it alone. A leader has to organize a team spirit. Team spirit and through consultation. I must have a listening ear. And like I'm sure this is going to have a think tank that will sometime advise him. And like I said, it's an officer with a listening ear. And again, the officer with his loyalty also from the junior officers, other officers, and men of the force. Like in the force, nothing like competition. I've always emphasized that. Nothing like cliquism or some people are loyal to this. All the loyalty should now all be anchored on Disu. All of us are men of whatever rank, and the new management team that will be constituted should also be loyal to work as a team spirit. No question of rivalry, no fun of infighting or cliquism. They should work as a team. They be like they work like fingers of one hand. Look at fingers are not the 5 fingers are not they are not all equal size. They want to lift an object with your hand. No finger will say that I will not lift. No, they all work. That together, that spirit of unity, that spirit of team spirit, So I think that's what I expect the incoming management team to work as a team, focus on library, and the new IGC also have broad-based consultation. And like I said, I know him too well. The man is a man with a listening ear. He's a humble man. It's always sometimes when people don't have capacity or because of ego, they don't listen to advice, they don't take to advice. But I know I'm very, very, very optimistic. I have absolute confidence in Disu that he has the capacity, the operational capacity, military capacity. Even I told you about international experience. So that all put together, I'm sure, makes him a very qualified, utterly qualified as an IGP of this country. And I'm sure he will make a difference.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. We've been speaking with the former Commissioner of Police, FCT, Mr. Lawrence Alobi, who has thrown his weight behind the new Inspector General of Police, who actually will resume office right away. Thanks for your time, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, Shore has also been talking tough. Remember, he has always insisted that the outgone IGP, that's Inspector General of Police, Mr. Egbetokun, he calls him illegal IGP. But then again, he did put out a video yesterday. We'll look at that video after we come back from the break and talk about what happened in Benin City. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Just before the break, we've looked at the new IG of Police, Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, who's coming in. But then again, one man who has been shouting and crying foul, talking about Omoyele Shore, decided to take a trip to the police force quarters to ask if the new IG has resumed office. So he put out this video on social media. Take a look.
We came to see the new IG. We want to see the new IG. We came to see the new IG.
We never get new IG.
We came to see the new IG. We came to see the new IG. Where is it? Where is it? They say they don't remove Egbetokun. I want to see the new IG. You are not aware that they have removed Egbetokun. You are not in the police. You are not send signal. So the new IG is still in the villa?
Yeah, he never come.
When he will come now? They're going to consider here. Egbetokun has to leave. That's why I came. It's not supposed to be here anymore. Why is he still inside? I don't get signal say I don't get new IG. So you cannot let me go and tell him to leave.
No, you can call him so that if he say we should.
Do you have his number?
If you have his number, you can clear this way, sir, so that we have the others.
I don't want to stay. I'm not interested in staying here. I said I don't want to stay. I just wanted to see if the new IG has come.
No, the new IG.
Okay. So that's the person. I don't expect Egbetokun to still be here. And I want to know the time they are pulling him out.
It's only the Egbetokun is inside now. The new one, no, it's in the villa.
Okay. You can rightly say sure and drama.
This is what you call peak trolling.
I'm telling you. It's pretty much like him saying
but
he's
it's
had the
for, for the longest time he's been advocating for IGP Egbetokun to step down, that he resigns, that his tenure is over, and he said he was fighting for the Nigeria police. So I'm sure that this is something that definitely gives him great joy.
But I expect some level of empathy from Mr. Shore, knowing that the IGP resigned on family concerns.
Yeah.
Yes. He should be concerned about the family of the former IGP. And we should wish him well.
Yeah. And he said he came to check if he's still there and to ensure that he leaves.
I wonder if he's still wanted in Lagos. We had him here.
Yeah, sure, he was wanted.
Last week.
By the IG.
Yeah, but when they declared by the commission, IG, and then the commissioner was acting on the instruction. But when they stop wanting you, they should also make an announcement that you're
no longer wanted. Yes,
because you could have instituted a citizen arrest and Olive could hold him down for the police to come.
I understand.
With your little muzzle.
Yeah, right. Anyway, let's give you another story, an update very quickly that former Labour Party presidential candidate and now a leading figure in the African Democratic Congress, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, alongside party chieftain John Oyegun, narrowly escaped what has been tagged an assassination in Benin City, Edo State on Tuesday. The incident occurred shortly after a rally welcoming former Labour Party governorship candidate Olumide Akpata into the ADC. According to aides, suspected hoodlums first disrupted activities at the party secretariat on Ogbelaka Street before trailing the politicians to Oyegun's residence, where gunmen opened fire on their convoy, damaging vehicles and the gate. Security operatives reportedly returned fire, forcing the attackers to flee. While no fatalities were recorded, some injuries were reported. The Nigeria Police Force confirmed receiving distress calls about the invasion and said the situation has since been brought under control. In a video now circulating online, Peter Gregory Obi condemned the attack as unacceptable and warned that acts of violence must never be allowed to undermine Nigeria's democracy. Take a look.
Look at our DJ, the DJ who covered the event. You can see all his vehicles have been destroyed. They stole the laptop of the DJ. They scattered his phone and his laptop was stolen. And look at how they were scattered everywhere. See, destroyed bottles. They came with guns. They said all of them were having poppers on their house and they were shooting sporadically in this venue. Look at this guy's bicycle. They stole his bicycle. Look at his leg. They beat people. Look at what happened. See, they destroyed what is here. See, this violence cannot allow to continue. The power arm of the DJ we are taking. See, this is Edo State, and the power of opposition cannot be subdued. Everybody who wants to join the APATC must be allowed to join. So we have the right to gather, we have the right to participate. Any form of intimidation and oppression that they are using in this state to oppress us will not be allowed to accepted. This is totally unacceptable. Nigeria cannot survive. We cannot be a one-party state. And yes, the government is seeking for 2.5 million votes. Imaginary votes by deploying thugs to hand and fight the opposition. See, Nigeria cannot be sustained in this manner. Mondokoro must get the message clear. And we will continue to stand our ground. Enough of this killing.
Wait. Yes.
Everybody mad at me. The other guy carry key. My leader told he wants to shoot and he can for the mother to come for us.
Boss one guy headed, boss the guy headed, boss by the back. I had to pay the hospital, the clinic bill, and take care of the guy. The structure there is another level.
They wounded someone.
And the secretariat there, yeah, they shot somebody. They blast the guy head here, blast him at the back. They beat him merciless. Yes, they shot one man in the neck, that one hospital. This thing is getting, we cannot sincerely continue like this.
Who are the people doing this?
It's also the embassy talks, we know. They have a history of violence.
Make a formal complaint, and I assure you, we'll make a formal complaint, and I assure you, this cannot continue at all. We have a country. Yes, sir. And we are part of the country. Exactly. You know, we cannot have terrorism terrorizing the country and have officials in government terrorizing citizens. It's not acceptable.
Okay, so that attack happened yesterday, Benga. We've seen series of attacks. Don't forget that the ADC has witnessed 2 attacks of same kind in Lagos. The first was when Gbadebo Rhodes former Labour Party governorship aspirant, was moving to the ADC in Lagos, and it was attacked. The event was scattered by thugs. The second was when other members of the Labour Party decided to move to the ADC just a few months ago, and they had their event also scattered by thugs, and they were warned not to return. So the question...
We've also seen this in Kano and Kaduna.
Yes.
So
where people were running for life.
And elections have not started. This is just political parties, opposition parties, trying to hold meetings and spend, and deliberate and spend time together. It's really, really sad, and it's unfortunate that we still refer to what we have in Nigeria as a democracy, when people cannot go about their constitutional duties peacefully. They were not protesting. It wasn't a rally. They were just sitting down. And I mean, the Nigerian Constitution guarantees you the right to peaceful association, right to freedom of association. And there you can see in the video dispelled spent cartridges of pump-action rifles. We thank God that no life was lost, because I mean, this level of violence, shooting guns, could easily lead to loss of lives, and it's very, very unfortunate. The Nigerian police should be more proactive and not come to the scene after the damage has been done. It doesn't look, I mean, the prospect for the future doesn't look bright if we're seeing this level of disruptions. And 2027 is fast approaching, and we're seeing this level of intolerance in the political scene.
Anyway, we'll look more into this. The papers definitely cover this. This video that you're seeing, the paper covers it, and we'll be able to explore it in detail with our analysts. But we're now going to break, and when we come back, we'll be bringing you breakfast headlines right before we bring you the newspapers. Stay with us. We begin in Abuja, where President Bola Tinubu has appointed Tunji Disu as the Acting Inspector General of Police. Tinubu, in a statement on Tuesday by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said he has accepted the resignation of Kayode Egbetokun as the IGP. Onanuga said Egbetokun cited present family considerations for his resignation. The president is expected to convene a meeting of the Nigeria Police Council to formally consider the appointment of Disu, after which his name will be sent to Senate for confirmation. And now to politics, as police in Edo State have launched an investigation into violent disruptions at African Democratic Congress political events in Benin City. Authorities say suspected hoodlums invaded a gathering at the ADC State Secretariat on Ogbelaka Street, causing panic and a stampede after the program ended. One woman sustained minor injuries, while chairs and canopies were vandalized. Governor Monday Okpewolo condemned the violence, describing it as an internal party crisis taken too far, and one that political unrest will not be tolerated. The incident has also revived earlier remarks by the governor, who advised that high-profile political figures normally notify the state government ahead of visits to ensure adequate security coordination. He maintained that advisory is strictly to security purposes and not a restriction on movement. In the meantime, tensions are escalating within the Edo State chapter of the African Democratic Congress after some party leaders alleged they were excluded from a key meeting in Benin City. The development has also reignited debate over security coordination for high-profile political visits to the state. An ADC chieftain, Roland Owie, alongside other aggrieved members, has accused party leaders of sidelining statutory stakeholders during a scheduled meeting at the Benin residence of former governor and ADC state chairman, John Odige Oyegun. The group described the move as divisive and warned that it could deepen existing cracks within the party. The protest that followed the alleged exclusion heightened tensions around the venue.
As a matter of fact, the central meeting was to be called 4 or 5 times. He will stop it. He will postpone it. As we are talking, what I'm talking to you today, see, we have been everywhere in Edo State. I think in Edo State where we are, raising members for the party. Ask John Oyegun, how many people he has attracted to this party? Zero. Nothing. The local government people come, I don't know. I'm calling and dealing with those who have been helping this party to grow. So the way it is, we are telling the national leadership of the party, enough is enough of John Oyegun. This is how it was. They removed him with ease. We are saying enough is enough. You can't disrespect those who are building the party. And that's it.
A major shift in U.S. Nigeria relations is unfolding as American lawmakers are proposing a landmark bilateral agreement. In a joint report, the House Committees on Appropriations and Foreign Affairs are calling for a strategic partnership designed to protect Nigeria's vulnerable Christian communities and dismantle jihadist networks. The proposal seeks to swap Nigeria's long-standing reliance on Russian and Chinese military hardware for American-financed equipment. Nigeria's benchmark interest rate has been cut for the first time in months as the Central Bank of Nigeria lowered the monetary policy rate from 27% to 26.5%, announcing the decision after the 304th Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja. Governor Olayemi Cardozo said the 50 basis point reduction reflects easing inflation and improving macroeconomic conditions. Other policy parameters remain unchanged, maintaining tight liquidity while supporting economic recovery and investor confidence.
The committee decided as follows. 1, reduce the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 26.5%. 2, retain the standing facilities corridor around the MPR at plus 50 to minus 450 basis points. 3, retain the cash reserve requirement, CRR, for deposit money banks at 45%, merchant banks at 16%, and 75% for non-TSA public sector deposits.
U.S. President Donald Trump has pledged to confront threats to the United States while pursuing peace as Washington increases its military presence near Iran. Speaking during his State of the Union address before Congress, Trump said his administration will defend American interests wherever necessary. He declared that while diplomacy remains a priority, national security will not be compromised. The address marked his first State of the Union since beginning his second presidential term 13 months ago. The president emphasized the need for a strong military posture, citing rising tensions in the Middle East and what he described as persistent security challenges.
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
And that's all with Breakfast Headlines. We'll now continue on Breakfast Central. Thank you for watching. We'll be reviewing the newspapers right next. Stay with us.
Welcome back from the news, actually, from the news breakfast headlines. Let's bring to you the front pages of the newspapers. Next, we have public affairs analyst, golfer, accountant, not general yet. Chartered accountant, but there's no general added yet, just yet. Maybe now that there's a lot of changes from the presidency, we might see him join there. Please, we have, make welcome Olusegun Okwade, who joins us. Good morning. Good morning. Ekaro.
Yeah, good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I don't know if I've told you this before.
You are one of my favorite analysts.
You are one of my favorite analysts.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned. Once it's being out, we'll be leaving.
Can I say something to you?
Yes, no.
So you put I hate lies. He said the same thing to Mr. Michi yesterday. He says the same thing to every analyst.
Yes, yeah, today is it the same?
They are not the same.
As of today, right now, you are my favorite.
Okay, all right.
But only change Lola.
to actually translate, but it can change by tomorrow.
Always a great thing. You see, the comic side that we put to this actually downs the tension. If person carry that wahala put for edge, don't be today's mind.
I make delivery to me say me will not die in their war.
Don't die in their war. Okay, let's go to this Nigeria. Let's start with this Nigeria newspaper. That's what we're going to start with. So let's have that on the screen. CBN slashes benchmark to 26.5% over inflation decline. I don't know if you're excited when you saw this story, but when I checked, I saw it was 27%. So they just removed 5. So it's 26.5. They removed 5.0. And I'm like, okay, I was expecting them to remove like 20. Sorry,
why
like 15, you know. But it was out
in
of
accounting terms, I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it does a lot. It does a lot.
It will make some significant, but not the common man that should feel the impact may not get that small basis index that was reduced. But because a lot of us are still looking in line of having as low as maybe less than 20%, 18%.
It used to be less
around
17, 12, 13, then we rose to 17.
You know, a lot of people with 25% benchmark, you're still not going to have your business well. You can imagine what the margin will pay when you are paying as much as 26.5 on borrowing. So what will it now be that you put as your benchmark for margin
before you start making profits?
Making those profits. So we still want a situation where they will work this out and we can come as low as 15 to 17%. Some countries are talking about single digits. When it comes to this. So that's why most businessmen will tell you that it's pretty difficult to compete with such countries. So where you have your borrowing to be in single digits and you are having 26.5.
You already have a huge head start.
There's a gap that needs to do. But let's see how much they can go before the end of this administration. Possibly we'll come to 18, 19 stuff in terms of that.
Let's take the big one. The front page of this Nigeria. Police Shakeup throws out IGP Egbetokun. Tunji Disu in. It's like football substitution.
I mean, that's a very harsh headline.
That's a harsh headline, though. Yeah.
You know.
Throws him, but it did not true.
He resigned.
He resigned now.
Due to family affairs.
But
this Nigeria is
the presidency said he resigned. Information reaching says he resigned. But from different quarters, there's
But this Nigeria is now saying presidency sources says it was asked to resign.
Yes, so that's what
they are not buying the family.
They are not buying the family story. There's also a story of him wanting to go to Ogun State to run. You know, and then there's a story of there was an alleged money that moved into his son's account, Victor Egbetokun.
But they said it was refunded.
And yes, they said, but before it was refunded, Sarah reporters had mentioned that they did the investigation and spotted it. Allegedly, I mean, that's what they said. But Sarah reporters said they found the report, they found the story. It was on state security in Anambra State. 100 million moved from Anambra all the way to his son's account. And they said, how was that possible? And then all of a sudden, Sarah reporters also mentioned that the outgoing IG had mentioned to all the police force to put out a statement, which they all did as at 3 days ago. I stumbled on those statements. They kept, if you check all the police spokesperson, commissioners, they kept putting a statement on X saying this did not happen and so on and so on. Sarah reporters had already said this would go on. It seems Sarah reporters also made mention that the courts had sent a restriction to one Mr. Omoyele Sowore not to discuss or talk about the issue, and he was restrained. You know, so everything is just, I'm just saying, if you look at the puzzle, we're not trying to place the puzzle ourselves, but we know time will tell. But I mean, what's your take?
You see, my position on this is whatever it is, the information we have at hand, he has resigned. Whatever the story behind it is actually meant for him and his family. And part of the things we keep telling people that are leading us is whatever opportunity you have to be in position of authority, no, it's just temporal. Some people will always tell you that the only person that does not go on holiday is God. For every one of us, whichever position that you are actually occupying today, years to come, it might become a story that you become past, either immediate past or past or past, and that will just be. So whatever the issue surrounding funds moving around, the same report stated it that it has actually been refunded back to base. Whether it's transit or not transit, the issue there is he has resigned. We need to move on. I think we just need to set the agenda for the new person, because you know every day we come in here to discuss, we discuss more on security, because a secured environment is a prosperous environment.
True.
Because of the level of insecurity, I'm sure you know a lot of things that are happening, and people have said we are not at war. Why do you see military men, you know, parading the street when issues that are civil, that should be handled by the police, are actually not been there? So for me, I think the next line of agenda should be appreciating Egbetokun for all that he has done within his own beat while he was IGP, and set the record for the new acting IGP on things that are expected from him. Because for me, I keep asking myself, he has come in, a lot of expectations. So people are actually looking at maybe one of the DIG, you know, succeeding in. But now you have to allow all the DIGs to go. And you are bringing AIGs. See, a lot of people...
Frank Mba is there too. Frank Mba, the once loved spokesperson of
Nigerian police. Yeah, that's the way things run. So I was caught at base, but I feel it is what it is. So when issues like that happen, as a lot of us are clamoring that it should be one of the AIG. I'm sure now that you know that most of the AIG now will be promoted. So it's a blessing in disguise. Some will definitely...
It's a blessing for some. Some have to make
the sacrifice and just leave, and some have to just, you know, say, thank God for this opportunity, because with this now, whether they are CP or whatever, they will be stepped up and take the position of what it is. But we just need to set agenda, and the number one agenda, which I can link with the dinner that Mr. President had with the governor 2-3 days ago. He was talking about state policing.
Yes.
That is something that they are going to see a way of executing before the...
And one person has a track record of maybe setting that up possibly. It happens to be Disu.
So you can see the correlation. You can see his antecedent when he was here as RRS. And the discipline. I passed their office yesterday and I gave kudos. I was going to a station and I passed and I said, can this one be policemen compared to, you know, the regular? Their vehicle, the neatness, even their composture, the way they are dressed.
They wash their vehicles every morning.
Just like the last guest said, that during the time of Egbetokun, policemen were dressing anyhow. They were not represented properly. They were not wearing their uniforms. They were acting differently.
I can tell you that will take a different look from the president we know with RRS. Have you seen any RRS vehicle out there that look that rickety like the regular police?
No,
the answer is no.
That's also due to support from the Lagos State government.
Yeah. But there was a strategy that was put in place, the trust fund.
During Fashola time.
So during Fashola time, I'm sure something can be put together. Let's hope. You know, in managing the assets of the government.
They have died the issue of tint permit. It should not be resurrected.
What about customer service fee?
Our customer service
No, they should not do, I like that one. They will do special performance.
Are you their customer?
I don't plan to, but I like the music video they usually shoot.
But they said there was jubilation in the end, though. Everybody was, the policemen were...
I think a lot of people love him. His antecedent when he was at Abuja, Port Harcourt, and
even
the
jubilation. Is the jubilation for the appointment of Disu or because Egbetokun is going on?
It's in between now.
50-50. That's what they said. They said
it's in between. So if there is jubilation, whether it's the exit of Egbetokun or the new man coming in, all we know is that there's jubilation in time.
Jubilation.
Yeah.
But some people are not celebrating. The Pengasan, I mean, the head of the Trade Union Congress, TUC, Mr. Osifo, was out on this weekend. He was doing media rounds and complaining bitterly about Executive Order 9.
Yeah.
But Pengasan is not planning to go on strike. They're just appealing to the presidency. And then there's been legal tussle back and forth, different interpretations. Some SANs are saying, you know, yes, the president has the constitutional right to do so. Some other legal luminaries like Olive are saying, no, the president cannot do this. But Pengasan is to meet presidency today. What does Executive Order 9 say? Executive Order 9 says that the golden calf,
direct remittance.
yes, the national ATM, the NNPC, the goose that lays the golden egg. The golden egg should not be going to NNPC account anymore. That egg should be laid directly inside the manger of the Federation account.
But in protest, the chairman of the Forum of the States, Akintunde Oyebode, the commissioners of finance as well, had said that that remittance, that direct remittance, will only earn 1.5 trillion. He said only. He had only about. I like the way they added only.
But TUC is saying that that money that used to come to them, that's where they pay salaries from. So is it that they want to render them
Benga, I reacted to this on a particular station yesterday, and I don't know why Pengasan or TUC or whatever is actually fighting for NNPCL.
They've stopped fighting Dangote. Now they've picked another battle.
No, it's not to fight government on behalf of NNPCL. I'm sure NNPCL is a company on its own, owned by the government, that is representing the people. So if the person that have engaged you feel that this is the way to go, like I mentioned, you see, this Order 9 for me is something that is highly welcome, in the sense that there are a lot of leakages. You read through that there are royalties being collected by NNPC. We can't account. They call themselves a commercial organization. Where is the account rendition? When they came up, part of their responsibility is to revive refineries. Where are they today? And Pengasan is there. This is, to me, an indictment on TUC, NLC, that they are accomplices in the failure that Nigerians have actually been suffering. They are just out there to make sure that these refineries are not, because it's one of the responsibility of NNPCL to make that thing work. Remember, for 80 years, that was the promise the last administration gave to us. Where the later we saw was that Port Harcourt came in, and after one day, he died, and we cannot account for some of those money. And here we are talking about it. Let NNPCL be handled as one of the agency. Every revenue generated to go to the FAC account, and let them bring out their budget and account for it. We can't go this route.
So,
all right,
we have a call, but after the call, I have a question.
We have a call from Uche calling from Abia. Good morning, Uche. Thank you for calling.
Everybody.
Hello, good morning, Uche.
If you can speak up, Uche, we're struggling to hear you, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Uche.
My brother Benga, there we go again. People have started praising this man, this new IG. The same way they started praising
Joash. They even gave him an award before 1 week.
Allow the man to sit on that table first. Let him sit on his seat and let us see his performance before showering the praises. On issue of what has happened in Edo, I have told you people what is going to happen in 2027. I'm not a soothsayer, neither am I a prophet. Until you people started talking about this official, what do you call it, talks. Government, every level, have the official talks. It is a pity the way 2027 is going to look like. if care is not taken, they are going to shed more blood. It's a pity. We people should do something. Have the presidency condemned what has happened in Edo?
No.
National Registration Agency, have they said anything in regards to thuggery? It's a pity the rest Nigeria is going. God bless you people.
Thank you very much.
I think we should just segue to that story.
Yes, but before that, just one last story on Executive Order 9. Now that the Pengerson is to meet the presidency today on this Order 9, what should be expected? Is the presidency going to reverse it, or would they agree with the presidency? They've also said there's no plan to strike or threats of strike. Finally, before we move on to
maybe Joe, if Benga will allow me to use this language, so law.
Okay.
So why are they going to the villa? Are they going to collect thanks for coming?
Well, you know, if there is anything like that, let them go and have.
Please let them. Because to face
you see,
the refineries.
Before Mr. President took this order, there will definitely be wide consultation. Yeah. So where were they when this consultation was going on? It was not wide enough to cover them. Okay. Part of the task I feel I need to give to Pengerson. Pengerson, you are the one who are responsible for some of this issue of our refinery, fighting for NNPC there to see how this Order 9 will not fly. Do the same thing to make sure that before the end of this year, we have one of our refinery start functioning. One or two we can get. No, let's give them one. If you give two, not all of that. For 8 years, you can't even do two.
Let's take a few comments on YouTube. Mokunye Chukwuemeka said, it's sad that our finance officers are overlooked because of tribalism and not competence. Frank Mba should be next, but no, he may not do the president's bidding and may have to retire 8 years earlier. Prince Ajibade says, I just love Showare's courage and audacity. He no send anybody, Papa. Prince Ajibade also goes ahead to say, Monday D7 must be held responsible.
You know why they're saying Monday D7 there? Well, that should take us to, is that all the comments?
No.
Finish the comments.
Monday D7 must be held responsible for whatever happened in Edo State. These people are making it look like we are no longer in a democracy. Are they? He asked if they are okay upstairs. Oshomole should put his dog on it. Jibade Ofeko Bawa. He now said ordinary GCFR Monday D7 can't pronounce, but he can arrange for hoodlums to attack people. But we don't know that he did that.
It's just an allegation, please. Let's be careful.
Strong allegations. We don't know that.
I was just going to go there. Please, for Nigerians, let's not be too quick to just oppose or to be able to puzzle an old incident with what just happened. The reason why Nigerians are calling on the governor of
it's because he won Peter Obi, not
it's because during he had won
we can't ignore that. We'll talk about that.
Yes, he warned him. He said if he comes the next time, and he said he made a statement there that he's serious and he means it. The next time he comes, he wouldn't like what.
So that's why I'm saying that we can't ignore that. We'll dissect the Edo State saga shortly. But the final comment for now, but the new IG is close to retirement, or is it just to honor him or what? Mokunye Chukwuemeka asked. Keep the comments coming on YouTube. New Central TV Live is where we're streaming. We'll be right back after this break to continue the conversations. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now we are, of course, still reading the papers. I think it's time for us to head to Edo State and address what happened in Edo State, the pink elephant in the room. Before we went on the break, we took comments from YouTube. Prince Ajibade was very, very disappointed in Governor Monday Okpolo, and sort of blamed him regarding what the attacks against His Excellency Peter Obi. So now, let's draw a parallel. We are not saying one situation led to another, but the reason, in case you're wondering,
putting all the facts out
exactly, we're putting all the facts out there. In case you're wondering, why would Prince Ajibade say they should hold Monday Okpolo?
And other Nigerians too.
Sorry? Yes, while Prince Ajibade and other Nigerians say that Monday Okpolo should be held responsible. There was a video where he outwardly, as in it was publicly, he addressed Peter Obi, and many would argue that that video seemed to be a threat. But let's take a look at the video, and then we'll play the clip from Peter Obi's attack yesterday.
I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, guys, she will get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis three people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
Nothing said with the grace, and go with the flow. This is the ADC State Secretariat. See the injured. Look at this one that was injured. This is the ADC State Secretariat in Edo State, Okpelaka. We just received our dignitaries today. We had a Tikapi Olumide Akpata was decanted to the ADC, and Peter Obi was here live and direct to witness it. Just few minutes after the event took place, the APC sent their thugs. They came in numbers with a Sienna unbranded vehicle with pop passion. They were shooting. They destroyed vehicles. They destroyed this woman's vehicle. Look how they scattered everywhere. This is a woman who sends opposite secretariat. Look at the things that were destroyed. Is this the kind of state Mojo Pueblo wants to preside over? Look at this water destruction. They said the woman was shot on the neck. The woman has been run to the hospital. They shot the woman on the neck. Many people were beaten and were injured. Look at our DJ, the DJ who covered the event. You can see all his vehicles have been destroyed. They stole the laptop of the DJ. They scattered his phone and his laptop was stolen. And look at how they were scattered everywhere. See, destroyed bottles. They came with guns. They say all of them were having pop action on their house and they were shooting sporadically in this venue. Look at this guy's bicycle. They stole his bicycle. Look at it's like they beat people. Look at what happened. See, they destroyed properties here. See, this violence cannot allow to continue.
So, there you have it. The videos out there in the open. Let's get Mr. Okwade's response.
Sincerely speaking, it's disheartening, looking at this. I remember when the governor of Edo State came out with that clips. I don't know whether it was here or on another station. I condemned that act. And I said that's the major reason why a lot of people will tell you that we are not right for state policing. Because when a governor is coming out openly to attack, an excellency like you, whether you like it or not, whether the person is in opposition or not, that's the former governor of a state like you, the former presidential aspirant for a political party. I feel that the way politicians rock things, they tend not to even respect one another. How will you feel if after 4 years he leaves office and this kind of treatment is melted on him as an individual? That's the first thing every politician must put before themselves when you're trying to make any that's Peter Obi is coming to the town without mentioning to you. There is this camaraderie. Let's leave politicking out of this whole thing. And aside that, some of the people that they're actually mobilizing to carry out this attack, I keep telling them, you will be used and done. If they sacrifice your life in the midst of carrying out some of this attack, your family will not actually be considered.
Go to a situation where they are now uncontrollable and they will come back. And
at least those are the reasons why some people said some of the problem we are facing in the north started with this kind of grooming people to be used at a particular point during electioneering process, and now it's getting out of hand. So I feel it's indecent on my part. Whether you're on the other party or this other party, there is this mutual respect for office. Whether you like it, is excellency. He was once a governor of a state, a presidential aspirant of a political party, and the fact that the governor is not coming out to even condemn it or to even pass a comment. I'm not saying don't even condemn, but at least to acknowledge that there was a problem. And there are times that people will even mobilize an attack, and you will come out and say, an attack came out yesterday, we actually acknowledged it and we are condemning that act. Absolutely. Even if it is you that even send them. But for the fact that
I agree with you 100%, Mr. Okwade. The words are powerful and words have meanings.
Yeah.
For the position and authority of an executive governor, he should have been more circumspect with the words he was uttering. Number one, your security will not be guaranteed.
That's the strongest.
How can you make that? So that's
it's
an
like
indictment.
It's like an open check that you are giving to people that anywhere you cite him in this state, I have given my order. Veto. Just go ahead. I'm sure if you review that statement, you will see the implication. Because what you have said is that your security is not guaranteed. If you don't mention free phone, it's like just telling anybody anywhere you see this guy.
It's like anything you see, don't collect.
Okay,
let's take a call. We have a call coming in. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Hello? Oh, Beto, sorry.
Beto, try and call back,
for me, election is coming. We don't. These are things that will not create apathy. That people won't want to come out and vote.
But the question is, did we have to wait for it to get to this level where there's been an attempted attack on the ADC and invariably on His Excellency Peter Obi, or should it not have been addressed at the point when the statement was made, when the threat was made?
I'm sure a lot of people, the way they will say it is that he has just made that words, let it just go. That's the way some people. A lot of people will tell you that it's just a statement that he did on impulse.
I'd like us to trace back, and I'm sure our viewers will agree with this. Let's just track back. Let's start eve of 2023. Iya Chukudi, Mama Chukudi.
Don't come out to vote.
Don't come out to vote.
They say it's joke.
No come out. If you come, what thing you go see?
Maybe you carry
track back to 2023 after the governorship elections and the House of Assembly where Lagos State was lost, or rather still yes, and then the area boys came out with the cane. Anyway, we have a call. Let's take a call before we continue from where I stopped. Good morning.
We have a call from Benin.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Dixon, please go ahead.
God, all the way from Benin.
Yeah.
Tell us, what happened?
Please, I want to say
what's going on in your state? They say people are beating and destroying chairs and shooting bullets.
Let us continue. Because that is the way they are doing. Because, our governor, Seti Obaseki, is not to enter Edo State. That's why they run, they go. Maybe the day we will see come to Edo State now, then we see start shooting. This is the way he want to govern Edo State. What our governor will be doing right now, that 200 million votes, he starts to be going looking for that 2 million votes he want to give to the president. He's not doing that. They are destroying. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted to say.
All right. You know I like believe. I don't know how this fondness with them. They don't miss well.
No sugarcoat it.
Tell you straight up.
They say they find it.
Go find it.
He also stray bullets also caught Obaseki.
Everybody.
I don't
understand.
And they enjoy their flow. You see why the guy they make that comment when that video they play. He get away with it. They talk their thing. You know they go far. They know they this. Queen's English is not.
No, there's Queen's Pidgin.
There's Queen's Pidgin. To eat. They know they waste time.
You go like it.
Some message people will pass for like 5, 7, 10 minutes.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. They don't pass that. They don't work.
They don't move. They don't move. Let me go back to what I was saying quickly. Let me see if I can piggyback. I will look at the Al Jazeera newspaper next. But quickly, if you track back, you know how area boys who came out with canes, and people were remember the video where they were going to each street by street, like they were going for some form of campaign. No come out to, if you know you don't come out. And everybody kept quiet. At the polling units, people came out. We saw what they were saying. Who did you vote for? Come, if you vote for this person. They were threatening people. The lady who had the cut, remember the lady who was bleeding?
Yes, in Lagos.
And they attacked her. It has been happening. Now come to the FCT elections. The FCT minister says, go and vote, leave it, I will do the rest. Before that, he says, if you're not voting for President Tinubu, let me warn you.
And impose a unilateral
I will not support anybody that doesn't do that. What are we saying? And then somebody says your security is not guaranteed.
Joe, if all those things that you've actually put together, permit me to say that most of these are leaders. The emotional intelligence is actually not there. I think most of them just speaks on impulse, because of what they are protecting and what they are actually guiding. There are more civil ways to do some of those things to protect even your interest without attacking the other party. What happens if the incidents happen that your family member who is not in line with you is the one that was attacked on the other side that you have actually mobilized people? Must we kill ourselves all in the name of politicking? We can be more civil. I will still blame the governor for that particular statement on me. The fact remains that how many of these other politicians come to the state and they have to take permission? So even if he's coming for private activities, somebody is doing a wedding ceremony, or they've invited him for a book launch, he must first, because of his position, say, Governor, are they come your state to take approval?
The governor will say, no,
but Nigerian
Constitution
constitution guarantees you freedom of
now, Gbenga, this one that I went to Abuja last week now.
So you now call the FCC minister that
maybe Mr. Bola will pick the call.
I said, people who have criticized the FCC minister on your show, therefore,
stay in Nasarawa in the border of Nasarawa. You not tell the pilots, please.
Okay, let's quickly take Al Jazeera and see the front page. Keep your comments coming on YouTube. We'd like to take a few more comments from YouTube before we get to the end of the show. But let's get to Al Jazeera newspaper.
Let's put it on the screen.
On the front page of Al Jazeera newspaper, the big story there says, recapitalization, 20 banks scale CBN hurdle, 1 month to deadline. Wow. Congratulations to the
and they did this without mergers and acquisitions.
Although there are a few mergers coming up.
There are a few mergers
coming up.
Yes,
so the banks will reduce in numbers.
Yes. But congratulations to them. 1 month to the deadline. If you can think it, you can do it. If you can aspire, you can acquire.
And perspire.
Apex Bank reduces interest rate from 27% to 26.50%. We talked about this earlier. Rate cut signals economic recovery, stockbrokers say. Diri's chief of staff, Akpe, replaces late Bayelsa deputy governor. Rivers records improvement in health sector. Suspected thugs attack DC Secretariat, Oyegun's residence in Benin. Federal government files fresh charges against Ozekome. That's another one. Minister restates commitment to rebuilding public trust in government. AIG Disu steps in as Egbetokun resigns. Adamawa born scholar earns U.S. varsity PhD at 25. What? Aims to make AI safer. No, I need to celebrate this person. I'm so sorry. This is a beautiful story. This is a story of someone who is just 25 years old.
It's beautiful, but why U.S.?
Wait now. At just 25 years old, Dr. Faisal Adamu Haman has joined a rare class of young scientists shaping the future of artificial intelligence. Fresh from earning a doctorate in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Maryland, the Adamawa-born researcher is tackling one of the most urgent questions in modern technology. Can we trust AI? Benga, you're asking why US?
I want to answer that now.
Please let him answer. Let him answer so that you have your own say.
Please answer.
You say why US? Where is the environment to make it happen here?
I'm not saying here. It could go to China and lead.
Okay,
your own is with US. I was thinking that because it's a Nigerian, it should happen here in Nigeria.
Trump said people should stop coming to.
But he's a citizen.
But he's a citizen there.
Oh, he's a citizen.
Adamawa-born. Another
US citizen.
But last week, so at this point in Nigeria, ensure that one day we can have reports like this of 25-year-old doctor. Because what we have in our education system are people that say, I got a C in this course. A lecturer said it when I was in university. A is for God, B is for my wife. The best you can get in this course is a C.
I heard that too in the course of one of the assignments I was doing for someone. I'm like, where do you say that A is for you, B is for your wife, and C is the one that you can give. So even if you do anything worthwhile, you can get it. There are a lot of things that we need to put in the right perspective. I said it on the particular station to say, see, those behind the scene making things happen in other countries, majority of them are Nigerians.
Of course.
They are Nigerian. If you go and check their blood, even if they are white, you trace their blood, you go see say they are from Nigeria. Why are they making those things? There is this inborn gift that God has given to us that everywhere we go, we shine. But is there an enabling environment to make things happen? A lot of students are complaining. That place, each time I travel, let me make you laugh.
Please,
the first thing I run to is to see how to plug my phone. Because we are used to it now.
Trauma.
You know, if you are not going there, you'll be going everywhere with your power bank.
Even the minister
now has
during commercial break, look at Benga charging his phone.
So you can understand. But then I would just say, calm down now. Even if your phone is 2%, nobody is taking supply. Yeah, and I'm like, so you are not thinking of they will take off the light. When should I read? A lot of students have actually factored when to read. Is it during the day because they won't have light at night, or during at night?
Are you scheduled to read now?
Can't do okay now. Some of us there's one thing they call lantern.
Yes,
no, that lantern where they go put
you put on you call roll out. Broom, take push out. Then you call roll
some of us use. So when some people now come and say, your eye is having you, I say, you know what we take read when we read those things.
I don't see.
Wait, don't see. So we should create that enabling environment. I keep telling everyone that cares to listen that this country is blessed with human capital that you can easily tap into. You will see a student, a pupil here, maybe in primary 3, primary 4, and he's like a 10th position. You will hear that the parent japa, and he will become number 1 when he gets to UK, to US.
Because he has better living conditions to be able to
a lot of things that will make him think straight.
Okay, our final comment. Olumide Alade says the most important thing in Nigeria is for all political stakeholders to operate within the rule of law. When the rule of law is respected, citizens will be free to choose their leaders through fair elections. By now, Nigerian politics should have progressed far beyond this stage. Unfortunately, we are where we are.
And
we'll continue to
it will be nice to hear from the Edo State Police Command if any arrests have been made, because crimes were committed, and I mean, how do you have guns?
And the government needs to.
All right, guys.
We need to wrap up. They have come to chase us from the studio. We'll see you
Time
again
is up.
tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Justice is up next. Thank you, Mr. Lucius.
Thank you,
See you guys tomorrow. All right.